Hello, hello, hello everyone. NegroVMX here, and welcome back with more Dragon Quest II Luminaries of the Legendary line. And as of the, that's the wrong controller. As of the last episode, where is the correct controller? Oh, it's up here. Huh. We have reached Renderak, perhaps prematurely, but that, you level up faster there. We'll get ourselves to a pretty high level, and I'm level 33. That's not bad, actually. We want to be higher than that, though. But also, in grinding here, we likely will have enough money at some point for at least one of the, whatchamacallums, the mink coat, or whatever the hell it's called. Now, here's the thing. So, I'm going to go ahead and get an Yggdrasil leaf. And you might be wondering, well, what use is the Yggdrasil leaf when right here resurrects you for free without any kind of items, right? All that's left after this is the final dungeon. And furthermore, Caradoc has Kazing. Now, see, Pudding's going to get 2 more spells, and she might get Kazing. I forget if she gets it or not. I think she does. But, and I think she also gets some sort of random spell. I forget exactly what her final 2 spells are. But it's good to have an Yggdrasil leaf for the final dungeon in case you're unable to cast Kazing. If it's just Alan alone, for example, he can't cast Kazing. He can't cast anything. So let's, real quick, we'll zoom out of here. See, we see Renderak there. To, I guess Burrowell's pretty close to it. And grab ourselves an Yggdrasil leaf. On the volume here. You're going to see a lot less of me doing that in Renderak and a lot more of just straight up casting Kaboom. What do we got? Oaken Club? Sweet. I'm going to do that here, actually. No reason not to, really. There we go, nice. And this is easily taken care of. Now, while in the area of Renderak, there are no, like, metal slimes or liquid metal slimes, we can, in fact, go back into the cave to see those. But it's probably better to just fight the enemies there and get used to fighting the powerful enemies. Alright, let's zoom back to Renderak. Just top myself off here. And I'm going to stick to the northern part where the enemies are tougher. Because, I mean, no risk, no reward, right? The worst thing that happens is you get wiped out. And the worst thing that happens there, if you get wiped out, is you lose money. But, like I said, maybe we save for the, Actually, they're together. Let me do Sizzle. The worst that happens is you get wiped out. And yeah, maybe we save for the mink coat thing. But it's definitely not mandatory to get that. Nice. Okay, so the Sword of Ruin is actually the most powerful weapon in the game, but it is cursed. So some people will prefer to actually use it. They'll give it to Caradoc, but I prefer not to. I find the effect of the curse irritating. Yeah. The Batmandrels tend to shrug off stuff. Alright, so Alan leveled up. Alright, getting hit by Sizzle. Oof. That's not good. Wasn't too bad, okay. It's going better than Iron Man. I mean, like I said, each version of this game is easier than the one before it. I mean, definitely, like, and I think people get stuck on this whole Dragon Quest II is incredibly hard thing because they played it on NES or maybe Super Famicom, which wasn't even that bad compared to the NES version. And they get stuck in that mode and they don't... I don't know, maybe... Okay, yeah, Archdemon, these guys are tough. And I think they don't properly play the game because they're thinking of it... I don't know, I think that their own worst enemy is what I'm basically getting at. This might not hit. Oh, it hit him, that's good. Oh, it hit both of them, nice. Very cool. Definitely gonna head back to the shrine. Like, I was talking to somebody on Discord, not on my Discord, but on somebody else's, streamer friend of mine. And I got tagged because the conversation... Oh, Pudding's level 27. And she does get Kazing. But yeah, it's good to have a Yggdrasil leaf in case they both get wiped out, and uh-oh. Oh, I should have used it just in case. I was mashing. Alright, that's not too bad. I'll do the same thing then, since there's only one now. I got tagged because the conversation was about Dragon Quest, and a friend of mine was like, remembering that there was one Dragon Quest game that I'm always saying there needs to be a port of, because it was never ported. Of course, talking about Dragon Quest 9. They couldn't remember which it is and tagged me, so I said, yeah, it was Dragon Quest 9. Alright, Caradox level 32. I'm just in case, I'm gonna do this. I'm still heading back, but I'm doing this just in case. So anyway, there was this one guy who, I don't know, I found this guy to be, like, very kind of personally irritating. I don't think he was, I don't know. I don't think he was being that way on purpose, but I was certainly annoyed. And he said something along the lines of, there needs to be a version of Dragon Quest II that's playable. And I'm like, here, you know what? Hold on. I'll tell you exactly what he said. Where is it? I was just so perturbed, you know. Yeah, this is what he said. He said, a Dragon Quest II fourth that's actually beatable. Fucking last area and boss are insane difficult. And I'm like... And he says, like Dark Souls of JRPGs difficult. And I'm just like, what? It's like, I've beaten it on every version that there is, pretty much. Let's see, I mean, I've done the NES version, obviously. I've done the Super NES version. I've done the Game Boy version. That was even a Let's Play at one point. I did the mobile version. That was a Let's Play at one point. And I'm doing the Switch version. I mean, there were some, like, weird PC versions that I've never played, but... I'm just, like, wondering, like, exactly what... Like, and I like, maybe played it on the NES, right? This is what I'm thinking. Maybe played it on the NES, and, you know, just doesn't realize that it's gotten easier with each port, or, you know? And he said something that he had played the Switch version, that it was impossible, and I'm like, I don't know, I'm playing the Switch version, I'm finding it way easier than any previous one that I had played. So it's just weird to me, you know? I'll head back. It's actually good early on to stay as close to the shrine as possible, but... Don't need to save every time I heal. You know. How much money I got? Okay. Single Archdemon? Okay. Archdemons are definitely the toughest enemies that you'll run into on the overworld. There's nothing that you can run into that's tougher than them. You could say that perhaps the Gigantus is has a higher damage potential because they physically attack and they what do you call it? They crit sometimes and it can do, you know, over 100 damage, and they seem to have a rather high critical hit rate. But even then, like, I would rather run into 3 Gigantus than 2 Archdemons because they tend to shrug off magic. They have higher defense, and they like to attack the whole party for less damage, but they're hitting all 3, and that could really wear you down quickly if you're not able to end it fast. That should do it. You see, I'm getting more experience than I would get from metal slimes. Not as much as from liquid metal slimes, but it's a coin toss, and the coin is rigged, you know? So there's Alan hitting level 35. I don't know what level you want to be at in this version. Oh, what am I doing? Not that. I really don't in the Switch version. Last time I played Dragon Quest II was Super Famicom. Because I played the Dragon Quest 1 and 2 on Twitch. And in that version, I just decided to just go crazy because I was leveling up so fast, and because I'm playing on Super Nintendo, I can use the speed up and whatnot, and it was a mess. I think it said I had a free round, though. But I wound up getting to the point where Alan was level 50, and I think Caradoc was level 40, and Pudding was level 35, which is actually the cap for each character. I don't know if it's 50 for all characters in this. Okay, yeah, that's another reason Archdemons are nasty. Or no, actually, I think that might have been the Frostburn. Because she just get hit by thwack. Oh, I was really hoping to take that guy out. Alright, it's looking dangerous. You need to heal yourself. Actually, I think the other spell... She might get full heal. We'll see how it goes. Hopefully this just kills them all. Should definitely kill the Gigantus at this point. Didn't hit the Archdemon. Oh well. Alright, Alan's low, but yeah, there we go. That's what I figured. God, this is so much easier than the previous versions. I also think that, like, when people are completely 100% unwilling to grind at all, why do you play RPGs then, right? Like, I get, like, some people want to play the story and everything, but, like, if you're completely unwilling to grind, right, you just refuse. And I'll tell you why I have an issue with this, right? Some people don't like grinding, and that's fine, but the type of people who just absolutely refuse, like, any small amount of grinding, they're like, oh my god, the grind, right? To me, that tells me that you don't like the gameplay. Right? That you can't just do combat for a little while. Like, really? You can't just fight enemies? Yeah, you know, it's not the most compelling. I don't mind grinding. As a matter of fact, I kind of like it, but, I zen out sometimes, you know? Or I just ramble, like I am now if I happen to be recording or streaming it. Alright, Caradox level 33. I don't like to specifically show too much grinding, simply for the reason that I think that some people are going to be, you know, heavily bored by it. If I have to do it on stream, I'll try to, like, play music or something and have a chat. But, like, if you're... It's like the same people who are like, they're like, every time they run into an encounter, like, oh... It's like, well, that's the gameplay. Do you really just not like the gameplay at all? This is looking dangerous. Let me just throw out a, mid-heal on Pudding. Oof, there goes Caradoc. That's fine. She did just learn Kazing. Gonna head back anyway, but now I'm poisoned. I mean, like I said, I could use Squelch, but why not head back at this point? That's not so bad. And if you do get here and it's too difficult, there's kind of two different things that you can do. One is, as soon as you reach the shrine, you can go back to any point, right? You could stick to the southern part, which is near the cave, and in there, you know, well, not in that area, that it's a little easier. Another thing that you can do is grind in the cave itself until you're able to survive this area. Or you could even go all the way back to any other previous area. As long as you reach that shrine, as long as you step into it once and talk to the guy there, you have a warp point, and you can come back here at any point. And you guys saw in the last video where I was 2 steps away when I got wiped out. And that, of course, was a lot of luck that didn't go my way. I'm going for it. Oh, not Kazing. Hopefully we won't need Kazing. That's what I figured would happen. Okay. I don't know how many episodes of grinding I'm willing to show. I'm certainly willing to grind off screen. But we're pretty much at the end, so... Kabuff, really? Okay. It's too bad you don't ever actually get Kabuff as a spell in this. I don't think you do. You certainly didn't in last time I played it, which was Super Famicom. Let's see. Oh, he gets Kabuff. Look at that. Alright, so they added that, yeah. Alright, do that. And that's good. It'll help with, some of the bosses like to, sap you or kasap you. And if you don't have, and I was talking about this in the previous time I played Dragon Quest II on Twitch when I played the Super Famicom version, there's no Kabuff. So all you could do is heal your characters and wait for it to wear off and hope you don't get murdered. Especially if you get kasapped a few times, it could bottom you out for defense. Alright, Alan's level 36. But giving Caradoc Kabuff is another way of like making him more relevant, and they've done that. Pudding's level 29. I mean, he was so useful in the NES version that one of the strategies for some of the final bosses was to have him... Oh, I mean, you do that. Was to have him not actually contribute anything other than defending. That he would just... They called it parrying back then on the NES, but he would just defend, and you would just hope that the enemy hits him and just does less damage because he's defending. You know, that would be your strategy, right? To have Pudding throwing out damage in the form of magic, Alan throwing out damage in the form of attacking. And with each subsequent version, they've made Caradoc the Prince a little better. By giving him better spells, by letting him equip more weapons, by just buffing his stats. He was supposed to be... The idea was that Alan is the purely physical character, and Pudding is the purely magical character. And Caradoc is the half step between them, and he's not going to be as good at magic as Pudding. He's not going to be good at physical attacks as Alan, right? But he could do everything. But it really, especially in the early versions, was especially the NES version. It was, you know, jack of all trades, master of none, you know? Which is saying that when you spread yourself too thin, you're not actually good at anything, you know? That he couldn't, his physical attack was so low that he couldn't even damage enemies, you know, in the NES version towards the end. That's Caradoc hitting level 34. And his spells were so outclassed that it was better to keep his magic points up for healing between battles, or even during, but yeah, he wasn't a very strong character. But yeah, each subsequent version of playing, going from NES to, I mean, this wasn't the order I did them, but going from NES to Super Famicom, going from Super Famicom to Game Boy, going from Game Boy to mobile, and then going from mobile to Switch. He's better in each version, incrementally. But to the point where if you were to have somebody who's never played Dragon Quest II play through the NES game, right? And then have them play through this Switch version, they're going to be like, wow, he's like a completely different person. They overhauled him completely. And not knowing, you know, necessarily that there were a lot of evolutionary steps in between, right? There were a lot of transitional steps, right? But that's how far he's come. And I suppose if we ever get like a HD 2D remake, which may happen, I think that, you know, he'll probably be, he might wind up being the best character in the game. I don't know if they'd go that far, but that seems to be the direction they're going. Speaking of which, so yeah, they had announced Dragon Quest III was getting an HD 2D remake, which you gotta assume is Switch, because they always seem to release those games on Switch first before anything else. They did that with Octopath Traveler. That one got schmacked. Octopath 2 was released on like everything, but like Live Alive's initially on Switch before it was on anything else, so it seems that the Switch is where the HD 2D exists. That's where it lives, right? Or that's where it originated or whatever. But you know, there's rumors that, you know, like Chrono Trigger is going to be getting this treatment, and we saw in the Pixel remasters of Final Fantasy that a little bit of 6 was done in that style. The opera scene specifically, you guys saw it. Let's Play Final Fantasy 6, that version, not very long ago. But, yeah, it's interesting because they've said that, you know, they don't plan, because they, like Dragon Quest 3, they're just going right to 3 HD 2D remake, right? And it's interesting because they said they don't want to just, oh, this pudding hitting level 30. Hocus Pocus, that's the random spell. Yeah. Also, keep in mind that if you really think you can't make it back to the shrine without, you know, you could always zoom there. Just pointing that out. So, I'm actually going to save it this time. You know, like they said, okay, we might not stop at 3, we might do it. And it is, well, they could do 1 and 2, right? And I'm thinking, like, it's interesting because would they do 1 and 2 HD 2D when they're already available on the Switch? But then again, 3 is as well, right? But I'm really hoping that, like, 4, 5, 6 get that treatment. Because if you're looking at it, like, what's the most recent way to play each of these games, right? For Dragon Quest 1, 2, and 3, it's right here on the Switch, right? You know, you already saw me do 1. Here's 2. I'm doing it now. I'm at the end of it. And the plan is to also do 3 on the Switch. 4, 5, and 6, like, the most recent version is the mobile version. And the mobile versions for 5 and 6 specifically are pretty much... Who's leveling? Alan. Pretty much indistinguishable from the DS version. And I notice I said 5, 6, not 4, 5, and 6. 4, the mobile version is like slightly better because the party chat is there. It was cut out. They didn't have the time to implement it in the DS version. So it's pretty much a more complete version. But okay, but still, it's like there hasn't been like a big console remake, and oh, she got thwacked. I mean, of course he had to do that. He had to miss. You know, so we haven't seen like, you know, a Switch version or a PC version or anything, and you know, not everybody wants to play these games on mobile. You know, the DS is quite a while ago, you know? So, there's Caradoc hitting level 35. Kamikaze. That's emergencies only. He can do a lot of damage to Kamikaze, and then maybe have Pudding resurrect him, you know? I think that's his last spell. Oh no, he has one more coming. At least one more. I mean, it showed like one more, and I thought, oh, here is his last spell, but it was Kamikaze, which you don't use outside of battle. It only shows the spells there that you could use outside of battle. But anyway, so then you know you go to 7, 3DS, right? A little more recent, right? Still could use some love. Still could use a version that is playable on modern systems. 8. This needs like a remaster or remake or something, right? 3DS once again. Graphics aren't as high fidelity as the. I would love to see like an HD version that we can play in HD. Having graphics like the PS2 version, but of course, HD. And all the features and the new stuff that was added in the 3DS version. As well as maybe some new stuff, right? 9's on the DS. It was never on anything else, right? That needs to come out. 10. So I guess 10 offline is getting some kind of big update in Japan. We still haven't heard about 10 offline coming out here. 10 online's like never coming out outside of Japan. Let's just, you know, but 10 offline I'd really like to play. I think it's on the Switch. I would like to see that game come out, but at least it's accessible in Japan, right? But I've heard that like maybe we might be hearing something about localization after the big update. But anyway, that's... What am I doing? Do this. You know, and then 11, of course, is, you know, that's on everything. You get it for Switch, you can get it for Xbox, you get it for PlayStation 4 and 5, you get it on PC, right? I just got Kamikaze. Well, there goes half my money. That sucks. That happens. That's what Kamikaze's like. It's a little bit of bad luck that they do that. But as you can see, what I'm getting at is the Dragon Quest series could get with a bit of accessibility, right? It can get with a bit of accessibility. It could definitely be made more accessible. And I think that, like, and this is gonna sound weird at first, but bear with me, but basically doing the pixel remasters, you know, maybe you're doing it in HD 2D or whatever, but basically doing something similar to that Final Fantasy did is a good start. Doing 1 through 6, in this case, it could still be 1 through 6. Like, maybe 7, 8, 9 beyond that. Yeah, we want to see those, especially 9, but it's a good start. Now, the reason it might sound weird is because the Final Fantasy Pixel remasters were announced, and it was wonderful, and they were announced for Steam and mobile. And it's like, well, it's great for me because I play on Steam, right? But people who buy and play consoles were really upset about that, and understandably so, because why are they being left out, right? Why are they being left out? And I remember once making a comment on a Square Enix trailer video for whatever, I forget what it was. I think it was for Kingdom Hearts or something, but it was for PC, and it was being released exclusively for EGS, which is the Epic Games Store. And that was weird because, hold on, I just saw something weird. I need to get into another battle. No, I didn't see something weird. I just realized I'm fine, I'm good. Never mind. I'm talking shit. And if you play on PC, like, okay, you play whatever you want, right? But I personally don't support the Epic Games Store. There's various reasons why I don't. Part of it is I don't like the company. Another part of it is I think that there's very little in the way of stability with the accounts there. I think that there's no security. That's the word I'm looking for. There's no account security. It's a mess, and I don't use it. To me, if you want to release a game on PC, release it on Steam. You could release it on anything else you want, right? Steam doesn't have, like, oh, you release it on Steam and you can't release it on anything else, right? They don't do that. You want to release on EGS? That's fine. You want to release on Uplay or whatever the hell, right? Knock yourself out, right? But release it on Steam. That's the industry standard. And I remember, like, it was something that I think it might have been a Kingdom Hearts thing, but I remember posting a comment like, you guys have heard of Steam? You know? And then I got this, like, kind of angry, petulant reply from somebody. It was like, you can't complain because you got the pixel remasters, and console gamers didn't. And I'm like, no, I can complain, first off. And secondly, you're right. I don't think it's right that only Steam got pixel remasters and Switch and Xbox and PS didn't, right? I'm for more accessibility. I'm for more people to be able to play more games. I don't like exclusives. Exclusives are anti-consumer, you know. Caradox level 36. I get that every game every system has to have their system sellers, right? And I know that, like, you know, Nintendo, they're kind of grandfathered in because they're making their own games. Still, I do think that, like, look at what's going on with Xbox right now. Let's talk about this very briefly, right? Look at what's going on with Xbox. They bought Bethesda, right? And they have not made any sort of comment about games like The Elder Scrolls being exclusive to Xbox. I think they're going to be timed exclusive, but it's like, if you own, say, Elder Scrolls, Doom, Fallout, Wolfenstein, you know, all that stuff, right? If you own all that, I'm going to zoom back just for safety. Yes, obviously that's a reason to buy, like, Xbox over PlayStation, right? And PlayStation has always had more exclusives and better exclusives than Xbox. That's always been a thing. So you're seeing a little bit of the leveling of the playing field here. But at the same time, like, Microsoft is being kind of really smart about it by choosing to not keep everything to themselves. And you see Sony kind of playing it smarter recently, where they're starting to release games that were published by them that were PlayStation exclusives on Steam. Now, they're not releasing on an Xbox. That would be a further step, but that's why Steam has, like, Spider-Man and God of War and Horizon Zero Dawn and whatnot. And, you know, that's unquestionably a good thing. You know, obviously they're not doing that day one. They want people to buy the PlayStation, and that's perfectly fine. I get that, right? But at the same time, it's better for, I mean, they at this point, you know, when they released, we'll use God of War as an example, right? God of War was a system seller. Like, people were buying the PlayStation because they wanted specifically God of War, right? But the game's a few years old. The sequel's already out, right? God of War Ragnarok. It's no longer a system seller. People who bought... Anybody who was going to be the person who buys PlayStation specifically for God of War already has it, and they're buying Ragnarok. So at this point, just releasing the game on another platform, Steam, is just basically making more money off of it, right? Because now all these people that couldn't play it before because they didn't have PlayStations and they're not willing to buy them can play it. And they can give you $60 too. And they could, you know what, if Sony really wanted to be crazy, in a good way, good crazy, they could go ahead and release it on Xbox. Why not? Why not? You know? So yeah, I get the need for exclusive to some extent, right? Especially for Nintendo, right? They're never going to be releasing anything on anything that's not Nintendo. Even though I think that, like, releasing their older catalog on platforms like Steam might be very, very smart. They're never going to do it. Nintendo's never going to be that smart. But yeah, doing something like the Pixel remasters, I know it sounds weird because, like, wait a minute, at first they only released those for... I hate when this happens. I get, like, this really long freaking eyebrow thing going, and it sucks because it goes into my eye. So I'm just gonna... There we go. God, look how long that was. You'd think that was coming off my head, not my friggin' eyebrows. That's so much better. That wasn't bothering me for a while. Now, where the hell are my glasses? The problem about being someone who needs glasses to see well is you can't find them. There's only so many... Oh, they're on my lap. There's only so many places I could put them. We are at a half hour, but... Let's see, level 38, 36, 32... I got a Chimera Wing. I'm thinking about this, like... I don't know that I want to go, like, full out, like, level cap. But... Let me find out, like, what's a good... I don't know how this version's balanced, right? Let me see some... I'm gonna go on YouTube, right? I'm gonna search... This is what I'm searching for, right? Dragon Quest 2 Switch... Malroth. I want to see the levels of somebody doing the Switch version. Okay. Let's see. Hargon's Castle, Hargon and Malroth, Victory Tourista. I just want to see the levels. Well, it starts at title screen, so I guess I could... Okay, so this person's level 43 and attempting it? Okay. Well, I'm not attempting it, they obviously did it, right? So, yeah, I don't feel the need to go all the way to level 50, but level 43 would be good. I'm gonna stop right here. I'm gonna do the rest of the grinding off screen. That way we can finish this with one more video because it's just the last dungeon and it's a lot of bosses, but it's just the last dungeon. So I'm gonna stop right here. I'll see you guys real soon with more Dragon Quest II: Luminaries of the Legendary Line.